Oh, Kevin. Kevin. Kevin's trying to play out that he's about to be homeless, and he's not. You have to love this interview because he has to paint himself as a victim, like big time a victim. Like, this stuff here, he's got McMansions like everywhere, and he travels to and fro from this country to a million other countries to go prey on people. Anyway, he comes on to Piers. I guess he did the interview finally. I don't know. I kind of am out of the loop. I kind of get sick of like paying attention to narcissists, sociopath. Anyway, everybody's calling him narcissist. But anyway, I was like, this is one of the ones that you should really follow because he's such an actor, and he doesn't take responsibility for the things that he did. Like it's his fault that that's happening. It's his fault for all the lawyer stuff. Just let it happen. You know what I mean? Like if you're guilty, you're guilty. You could have just saved millions of dollars right there. He doesn't want to get in trouble. He doesn't want to lose it. I mean, he'd rather lose all his money to go fight it. I was like, I'd rather see him in jail. But you need to really or into some program. You know what I mean? He needs to stay away from everybody. Okay, so TMZ wants to like help him out here, but I don't know. They said from his cheerful interview. And they go, he's crying about losing his home. But it's not the only home he has. Like, you guys are acting like that's the only place he lived and now he's going to live in a shopping cart. No, in fact, what he should tell you is that all the crap that he put into storage is worth more than anything single item that I own. Okay, so, I mean, he could literally just sell off his stuff. And isn't that what they tell us to do anyway? Oh, you're going poor. Well, you don't need anything nice, so you should get rid of it. Like this crap, right? But somehow we're supposed to feel bad here for Kevin losing one of his McMansions. Okay. And then he said he has no money. I guarantee you that dude, okay, he's talking a little like Trump. If anybody read Trump's book, that one, I forgot which one it was, the one that my cat pissed all over and I had to throw it out. Okay. So in one of his books, he was saying, I'm more poor than that homeless guy out there. Okay, so Kevin's pulling that script right there. Okay, and then he said, for owing millions in legal fees. And TMZ has a look inside his Baltimore pad saying that's going up for auction. Okay, this is how he be living, and there's probably like, some horror nightmares in here with some some victims in the back. The ghost of whoever. But no wonder Kevin is upset. He used to live in an East Coast palace. Yeah, palace. Right on the water in Baltimore's Inner Harbor. A 6-bedroom estate. And what does he need with a 6-bedroom anything, guys? I'm just serious. I mean, really. I mean, this is just, frivolous, living. I mean, at this point. Okay, so a state that's with over 9K square feet of pure luxury. So, I mean, is this his couch? I mean, all his furniture, he could sit there and get a tiny little pad. Okay, Kevin's place has sweeping views of the Baltimore skyline. A home theater. And you all know, don't go into the theater, like wherever this is at. In his home, it has to be a million times worse because there's nobody to come in to save you. Massive master bathroom. Plus a sauna. There's probably a massage table in there. A rooftop terrace. A spiral staircase. That staircase is scary as hell. That thing, that's what nightmares are made of. I don't know. Like for me, this thing right here, and mostly when you get older, it's like, whoops, one little trip. And then, yeah, it's beautiful to look at, but not to live in. So you should be happy that thing's gone. You're getting up there. Okay, so the several verandas and a freaking elevator. The actor moved here in 2017. Oh, he moved there right when all these allegations were coming out. So, you know what I mean. When he was filming the Netflix series House of Cards. Buying it for $5.65 million in a sale involving Charlie Hatter from Monument Sotheby's Internet. This is stuff I don't know anything about because that's just out of my league. Okay, but Kevin's about to lose it all. Telling Piers in a tearful interview this week his home is hitting the auction block. All because he can't pay for it anymore. And without any clear answer on where he'll go from here. He has how many properties does he own, you guys? I actually don't know. I know he has a lot of places. Like, he goes all over the place. And so, and he even says in the interview, it's so bad. Okay, wait. I'm going to go to this thing. This thing.
Where do you live now?
I will say this. Piers is asking some really, like, I don't know. He's like, how much do you have, dude? I'm just like, dude, this is like getting ridiculous. I think that's a little much, but he starts to answer these things. But okay, so he's gonna start doing his little acting. Wait, that you should feel bad for him.
Well, it's funny you asked that question, because this week, where I have been living in Baltimore.
Are you going to be joining me in a shopping cart, Kevin? That's a little scary. I'm going to be really mad about this. Okay, so no, but he's trying to go there.
Being foreclosed on. My house is being sold at auction.
Really?
So I have to go back to Baltimore and put all my things in storage.
Really?
You could travel that shit anywhere, dude. You probably still have enough to move that crap around. You have money to put it in storage, right? There's a lot of people that can't even afford to pay for the storage and they lose all their stuff. I'm just saying he wants you to feel some sympathy for him, but let's go.
So the answer to that question is, I'm not quite sure where I'm going to live now, but I've been in Baltimore.
Okay, so he's trying to make it sound like he's going to be homeless.
There.
So how long is that?
I moved there in 2012.
So
He moved to Baltimore in 2012, but it said something about 2017. So I don't know if he was living there and then he went and bought that place. But
this has been your home for 12 years.
Well, not this particular place, but this place has been my home and Evan and Lucy's home since 2016.
Why being foreclosed?
Because I can't pay the bills that I owe.
Are you facing bankruptcy?
I had a bankruptcy and it was an accidental bankrupt. There was a whole thing to this. It's not a big deal. It sucks though because it stays on your record forever. And somebody was supposed to be trying to help me out because actually this whole series of events because of the cops, it was actually related to that. And it's such a long, horrible story because it is related to the cops. It's related to all the setups and shit. And so I went to go talk to somebody and they were trying to help me to try to reset everything because they caused me so much financial damages, the cops, yeah, and mostly when they're chasing you around and tossing you out, doing all this crap, right? All these other people. And then the attorney or whoever it was, they were supposed to show up at the court place and they didn't show up. And I paid them and they didn't show up. So then we didn't go through with it, right? So then they told me I would have to pay them again and then redo it. And I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm not going to go through with it. I'm just going to suffer and then deal with whatever was coming. And the courthouse went ahead and just did it, I guess. Like there was something where they just went off and did it. And all of a sudden I got all this like credit thing in the mail and then they were writing things off and I didn't do anything. Like, that's the thing about it. And then it stayed on my record for 10 years. And it wasn't a really big deal up until, you try to go somewhere and they might see it and they're like, you have a thing on here like that? And I go, yeah, it was accidental. It was like, we started the process, but then, something happened there. But anyway, it wasn't that big a deal, okay? It really wasn't. It's just an annoyance, okay? And then it just stays there. But he's acting like this is going to be the end of the world and this whole thing and that whole thing. And they're doing this whole sob story. And then, so you're supposed to feel really bad from here. But he totally has other places. That's ridiculous.
And a couple of times when I thought I was going to file, but we've managed to sort of dodge it, at least as of today.
How much money?
But even if he did, it's not, you know what I mean? It's not the end of the world. He could at least do that, right? So this is just the stupid thing about it. Okay, so now Piers starts really digging at him. So how much money do you have? I'm just like, okay, this is kind of, I don't know, it's a little uncomfortable. This is one of those questions that like I could see in like 10 years people looking back going, This was totally inappropriate by Piers. I don't know, but okay. So Kevin's trying to say he's more
Well,
poor
I mean,
than me.
you know,
He's trying to say he's more poor than me. I guarantee you, no. Nah, nah, none. You think that Kevin has $0 in his bank right now? Nah, that ain't going on. That, honest to God, that ain't going on. But he want to go on like this.
you have some sense of legal bills.
Yeah.
I still owe a lot of legal bills that
You're
I have
actually-
not been able to.
Yeah, well, you have debt, but you have money in your bank account. You have debt. Okay, debt is not always a bad thing. But this debt probably is a bad thing. But he's manipulating. He's manipulating to make him seem like a worse victim of this whole thing. This is what these guys do, okay? I'm just saying, like, he's really trying to lay it on thick here. It is just unreal. The narcissist is getting taken down, and he's just like, oh my God, I'm going to be poor. And then he got, like, some house on a fucking island. Okay.
You're actually in debt.
Yes.
Do you mind me asking how much you owe?
Start crying, dude. How much you owe, dude?
It's considerable.
Millions?
Many millions, yes.
I think that he owed many
The house
millions
itself is
before
many
this.
millions.
What are you going to do?
Get back on the horse.
You know what? I got a good idea. Kevin, OnlyFans, okay? OnlyFans, dude. That is your field right there. Because you like to touch everything. Do it behind the camera. Don't touch anyone else. And you can make some money off that. So, OnlyFans will get you out of it, dude. Do it. Because I know there's a bunch of women out here, Kevin. They're sitting there telling you, happy birthday, dude. They're telling you, happy Thanksgiving. They're literally telling you all this like you care. You don't. But you should do that because you have a tank of fans already that would pay for that crap. Elton will probably pay for that crap. Look, do it. It's like that's a promise job right there. And the men will come, and so will the women. And so, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. There is jobs. There is jobs for him. I can't see him working in a fast food place, but there's a job for OnlyFans. Only, do you need some help? No, actually, I'm not on there, but I was like, I don't see a problem with it at all. And people always make jokes about it. But if anybody was going to make a lot of money on there, don't you think Kevin would? Absolutely. Probably more than he made on, on that damn show that he did. Honestly, he probably would. He would. He would have those big time fans coming in there. The carriage, it's like, Karen, I love your acting, and then oh man, he can reenact the like what he does in a theater just by himself. Okay. And then, I can give some scripts for that. So yeah. Anyways, he does this interview to make himself seem like a bigger victim. And Piers is helping him out. It's like, do you have any money? He's like, no, absolutely not. But I got money to go put all my crap in storage. And why wouldn't you just sell it? Honestly, if you have nothing else, dude, you would sell it. You would be like, oh man, I need every dollar I can get. Guarantee that his furniture, I can't even imagine how much his furniture is. He probably has those pieces that they're like 5,000 on up a piece. And then he's just like, I'm so poor. Like, I'm literally so poor. Like, I just don't want to let go of any of it. I'm like, yeah, a lot of us worked our asses off and government just steals it outright and doesn't give a shit. And it's like losing your stuff into a fire because you get nothing for it and they steal it and you worked your bum off to go get everything that you had. And we don't have things like he has where it literally, you could get thousands of dollars and enough to pay rent for a month on each item. So yeah, he wants to do that. And the whole thing is that whose fault is this? Whose fault is this whole thing? It's Kevin's. This is actually the true, the guy that's playing victim in this whole thing is that he's not the victim. But he's playing the victim, and he did cause it himself. Unlike a lot of Americans who bust their butt off every day and they constantly have debt. But Kevin already had debt before this. This is the thing where he's like kind of playing this game. Yeah, he owes legal bills. I'm sure it's in the millions. I am. But he bought a bunch of houses and he had debt getting those houses. He obviously didn't afford those houses. He didn't pay the houses off. I mean, my opinion, again, if I had millions of dollars, I'm not going to go under this bullshit. I'm going to pay it outright. But that's me. But maybe they're going to sit there and say that's dumb to do and everything else. But no, he has debt. He had debt before this. So he could have always said, you know, I'm really poor because I owe all this money on my mortgages and, you know, paying for these houses and whatnot. Now, does he have like, no, I honestly do not believe his story where he's saying he has nothing in the bank. He's just saying he's in debt and that he owes more than what he has, you know, in the bank and everything. But he has enough to go fly to the Bahamas and go stay over there. Like, he really does. Like, I don't believe any of this. Okay, so the other thing about this interview, which was a thing I actually commented on earlier elsewhere. So Kevin admits he was too handsy. If you're groping people and they don't want to do it, Piers began, then they should let you know they don't want to do it, Spacey said. He blames the victims for him being a rapist. Like, I touched everybody and I did all this stuff and then I was waiting for the victims to respond. It's like, what the hell? There's a lot of men that talk like this and do it. And that's the story of America. But he wants you to feel bad for him and blame his victims. So this isn't him taking accountability, okay? This is not. However, on this story with this dude right here, we're inching him towards, you know, him about to admit that he's a pile of shit. I mean, really, like we're kind of on that edge right here because he's admitting that he's like, I done did that. Yeah. So Kevin admits to pushing the boundary. He wants to reframe it. So this is the pushing the boundaries and being too handsy and touching someone sexually in a way that I didn't know at the time they didn't want. This line right here is so ridiculous, Kevin. You did something where you didn't care if somebody wanted it or not. And in the stories is always like you getting mad because somebody said they didn't want to be with you and you said, I know you want it. After he gropes them or whatever the thing is. So he gets mad too when you refuse his advances. And us women all know this and they start like they'll rape you or sexually harass you or sexually touch you like this. And then they get mad instead of it should be you getting pissed off at them, right? But the socio will flip it onto you and you think you did something wrong, right? This is him telling you you did something wrong, guys. Do you see it? He's the typical socio, but he's saying this. He's still blaming the victims. And this is another thing. They keep letting him out of prison and they hold this view still like that. So they still view it like my victim's at fault. And this isn't really fixable. Like, I don't know, unless at some point, I don't know. I just can't see him ever taking that accountability. Now, he may sit there and pretend to. That's the thing, because he's a manipulator. So he may see some people in his life, because apparently he's been talking to some other women and people, that he'll sit there and go, okay, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. But he doesn't really mean it. Because in his mind, what he's saying right here, as you see, he's lying to you if he did say that. He's saying that if they didn't want it, then they should have told me. After he touched them without consent, okay? He still blames the victim for them having a problem with him. He didn't know. It's like, you didn't get consent, dude. You just did it. You just raped everybody. I mean, that's the thing. So he wants to do that. So the whole story, all this crying bit and all this is actually about his own conduct. Now, for us victims, we tend to be the true victims in these stories where then you lose houses and things like that because the people we rent from is a Kevin Spacey. And so I've talked about that where I move in, the guy's trying to put the moves on me and doing all this stuff and then I get choked and whatever, you know, that thing. And then truly, I don't have a place to go. So he's trying to put himself in that position, into the real victim's position, which is crazy. And he never gets convicted, and yet he admitted to doing all these touchy things. Do you see it? It's insane. He sits there, he could admit it, and then he goes into a courthouse, and the rest of the public is the problem. So he's not alone. He's not alone, because the way that people view this is the reason why he's getting off out of the courthouse. Some people would say that that is criminal. That if you grow, some people, Piers, that if you grope people in a sexual way against their wishes, that is a crime. Morgan told Spacey in the interview. It is. I agree that the word grope is a very... Okay, Spacey, oh God. This is a detraction. Okay, so he's going on like this. I'll tell you, he's one of the more charismatic ones out here. That's why I can kind of stomach him more than anybody else. Like, some of these other ones are just... I was like, somebody made the news. I was like, yeah, you just became another victim. Okay. Grope is a very odd word. I agree that the word grope is a very odd... Okay, wait, this is his response to that. I'm telling you guys, the way to pick him out is their speech. Oh my God. He totally just went somewhere else with it. He's like, I agree that word grope is a very odd word. Is that what he was asking, Kevin? No. He says that if you grope people in a sexual way against their wishes, that is a crime. So he's supposed to say yes or no, or, you know, it is and whatnot. Now he's going, yeah, the word grope is an odd word. Isn't it? It's an odd word. Here, let me throw you off. He said, I have, so he's going to put a new word in here. I have caressed people. No, molest people. It rhymes with caress, but it's molest. And I have been gentle with people. You cannot let this happen, guys. This is that child. You know that child trying to get out of trouble? Yep, they're stuck as a child. That this is the way that I am. Okay, so now he's saying, I am the way that I am. He's going to start singing, I was born this way, and start flaunting off Lady Gaga. Okay, no. Okay, this is when you tell people that you're not good the way that you are. Okay, so this is not that. I was like, that's why I say, there's all these like quotes that people throw out. And I go, yeah, but there's certain people you don't want it to. So like him. So, that is the way that I am. I'm a rapist. Okay. You're a rapist. I have molested people and I have gently molested people. And that's the way that I am. That's what he's really saying. But I'm just saying he's trying to sugarcoat it to sound better. He's like, grope is a bad word. I don't like the word grope. We're going to call it caress. See? And then he goes, you're making a pass at someone. You don't want to be aggressive. Well, you don't touch them. If you're sitting there, like, okay, so some people, okay, I'll tell you many times, like, guys that didn't go and molest me, they're like, you know, would you like to go to dinner? I think most of the time I just say yes to be nice, and I really shouldn't. But anyway, I could say no, right? It's something I can go, you know, I'm really flattered, but, you know, I can make up some excuse why I don't want to go, right? Nothing, no harm done there. Unless, now there's different situations, because it could be sexual harassment when some people are on their job and should not be doing these things. There's a lot to be said with that. But anyway, you want to be gentle. You want to be gentle. What are you going on about? You want to see if they're going to respond positively. So you grope them. Okay. So I think the word grope is not a word that I associate with my experience. You're right. So he's saying a scrambled egg brain. He's like, I don't associate me being a rapist, but I'm a rapist, but I just haven't really associated that I'm a rapist with myself, but I'm a rapist. He's doing this. Like, he's going to have some fun with y'all with this fucking shit right here. If you're being handsy, you're groping people and they don't want to do it, Morgan. Morgan's trying to pull back. I don't know, he's being kind of funny here. So he goes, then they should let you know they don't want to do it so that you can understand it's not consensual and stop, Spacey said. Wow. So this is what I was saying. He puts it right on the victim. He's like, I go to them and they were being nice and we were talking and then I groped them. And so they should have said I shouldn't have raped them. It doesn't make any sense because he's saying I raped them first and I got to wait to see that if they like it or not. That's his argument. That's Kevin's argument. That's his brain, dude. That's his brain on his dad. I don't know. His brain is like, whoa. But that's him. And, I mean, Spacey has additionally been accused of forcing a Malibu masseuse to touch his genitals in a lawsuit that was eventually dismissed and of making a sexual advance upon the 14-year-old rent actor Anthony. Oh, he can't get over Anthony. Anthony, he keeps like, it's laughable on a level, but I'm sure it's not laughable to Anthony, but it's like the typical narcissist guy. He's like, I'm so mad at you because you did this to me. Like, he's doing this thing. And I'm telling you, back in the day when I had to go fight that Brian dude, I had to just take, like, the horrific events, because he's just like him. They have a lot of similarities in how they go about things and how they were trying to argue things, where it's just like on a level you can make fun of it, but then on another level, it's just insanity. And then I was trying to tell people, I go, the dude's literally off kilter. Like, Kevin's off kilter. And then he'll argue things like this. And he was kind of smart, too. So I'm dealing with a person that's very similar, because he will start doing these things. He's like, it's a moot point. And like this whole other thing. And then they just start throwing the topic off. Like, you would do the grope is an odd word. I didn't know this, like, I didn't know that you were a child, but I raped you, I tried to rape you, right? Like this thing. And then it's like, oh, is that supposed to be okay? It's like this thing, this argument started coming back. So I got really good at like defending myself against these men. And so the narcissist men, the oligarchs and everybody else really hate it. So they try to mute me down. And they're the ones that perpetuated this culture, and they help it, and they make the laws too as well. They spend a lot of money promoting violence on women and laws to promote that. And so they get to sit there and play this game of the love and kindness. Now, this thing is just the devil, okay? Because Kevin has done it too, where he's like, kill him with kindness. And so they use that to bully, and they try to present themselves as the innocent saint, the nice guy, and that the victims are the terrible monsters. And this happened with another perpetrator that, we were talking about that one over on somebody else's story. And they continually played the victim and tried to, they did the rounds. So they also do this thing for the sympathy rounds. They're fragile and this. And I don't buy it because I already know the personality trait disorder thing here, right? Okay. So, and it was. And then it gets people to come and bully you. Now, there's something wrong with the people that come and bully you. I'm not telling you to go bully Kevin. Have you ever got that from me? Because even how I talk about him, does it even make you want to? You just like get sick of him where it's just to the point, like, eventually it's going to come down, right? And, so it's just like this thing. And so that person continues on. They're still continuing on. They're like a leech. There's these certain ones. I go, I don't think Kevin's been trying to take me down. If he has, he's an idiot. But then he's going to be in a shopping cart as well. So, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't think so, but who knows in the background. But I haven't seen anything in my face that would indicate that. But there is other ones that I know are and have, and I did catch it. And so I was like, I go, you know what? Don't respond to, I was telling other people, I go, don't even play along because the public believes it. And if you play along, it just seems like it's real. It seems like you guys really are doing those things. And I'm over here just making fun of the ridiculousness of it all. But, I wasn't a part of any other thing. So I was like, it's so crazy that out of nowhere, the narcissist pops up and does this bullshit. So I was like, yeah, see, I go, and the other thing is that people don't realize is that I did not contact them first. They contacted me a long time ago. I mean, they responded to me. And I was like, yeah, I wasn't even expecting it, but the fact that they did that just made me go, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll pay some attention to this and maybe, some bullshit. And then they got caught, right? So they got caught that they were not being authentic. And then that's when it causes this whole other spiral of events. Spacey has additionally been accused, so we read that, and then it says the actor told Morgan after the rap allegation came out, he was removed from the final cut. Okay, so that's why he blames rap. So he doesn't blame himself for doing what he did to Anthony, but so he keeps going on Anthony. So he has a very deep-seated hate right now for Anthony. Even though at the time when it happened, he kind of admitted like he knew he did what he did. And then the minute that when he went to court and they said, "Oh, we think you're innocent," this bullshit going on. Anyway, so then he wants to ride that out. Like he doesn't care. Like he has no connection to other humans, so it's really easy for him to do that. That's insane. I could never do that. Like if I actually legitimately did some shit like that to somebody, I would feel really bad, and I really wouldn't want to go to court for it either. And even if the court did that, I still wouldn't be going on. I don't know. I know that I'm pretty sure that I would deal with this a lot differently. And no, I would not come back and start dragging my victim after the fact, like, and you blah 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 blah, and the check and the blah and the blah, and then he just want to be me, like because he's a narcissist. He's like, he just want to be me. I go, I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure Anthony is not jealous of Kevin on any level. He tried to do this. So then he said, okay, so then he said he wasn't sure that he could have said anything that would have been satisfactory. Spacey released a statement at the time saying that if he did believe, then Rapp describes, I owe him the sincerest apology for what would have been deeply inappropriate drunken behavior. Okay, so again, when he said that, he was trying to blame being drunk for him being a predator, which we're not having. And so he continually cannot take accountability for his actions. And this is another one. I will not let any man do this. Nobody, not a woman, not a man, nobody. Because when I'm drunk, I know I'm still okay? I mean, I'm still doing things that, I would do when I was sober, but maybe not with as much courage, okay? But he's trying to blame that he's into kids and going and groping and doing these things because he was drunk. But he does kind of sit there. He tried to sit there and say he's sorry for it. But then later, it all of a sudden became an attack. In the same statement, Spacey confirmed speculation on his sexuality. I have loved and I had romantic encounters with men throughout my life. And I chose not to live as a gay man. Okay. We were given no time to respond to Rapp's accusations. I have to take full responsibility for that statement. It stops with me, and it was a bad statement. So now, see, again, he will not take responsibility for that he did that. He now wants to really play that he didn't do it. And then now he's making excuses that he just didn't have enough time and he just made that statement. Like, this is ridiculous. I should have made separate statements about my sexuality and about his accusations. So then we had 4 other victims, and he got to walk out of a courthouse with nothing happened. And he's sitting here admitting that he groped people. Okay. Kevin Spacey breaks down. Okay. I like how they stopped the video like that with his head down. I'm losing everything. It's not my fault, dude. It's not my fault, even though he's the one that he's the perpetrator. Okay, Spacey ultimately broke down in tears, and he told Morgan that he barely dodged bankruptcy. His assets are down to none, and he's being forced to move out of his home after it was repossessed. I still owe a lot of legal bills. It's considerable, many millions. OnlyFans, man. Recounting the last 7 years, Spacey told Morgan, there's been a couple of times where it was very dark, and I was at my lowest. I will tell you, low. Low is when when I'm fighting people like you, and they hand you a gutter map. Okay, so I will tell you, low. All my stories are pretty damn low, and your career wasn't destroyed because somebody touched you, Kevin. Your career is going down because of the actions that you did to other people. And I know that's a rare thing to have happen, and that should be happening throughout history, but it hasn't been. And so for men, that's a shock and a scary thing, right? Because they control everything. And they've been the ones being able to destroy the rest of our careers as they molest us and rape us and do all these things and blackball us from the industry. So are we? I don't have any empathy for you here, Kevin, and I don't know why you think other people should, because the actions are yours. It would be different if you were one of the victims and this was happening. I would probably feel bad for you. But you're not. You're the one that went around doing all this crap. And in fact, you got caught so many times and people allegedly went up to you and you claim that you changed. You know, this whole thing. They always do that whole thing. And that you had to say sorry to people and do all these things. But you still did it. Where's your buddy Bill? Like, where's your buddy Bill Clinton? Is he going to let you stay over at his house? The other girl is in prison. I mean, I don't know who all your pals are. I mean, Elton. Hey, Elton loves you so much. Why don't you call Elton and have him go stay over at his house? He wants to go protect all this. He wants to protect you groping the LGBTQ community and everybody else. So, you cause it. This is called repercussions for the actions that you've done to other people. You cannot have power because you abuse it. And so, but you're only losing some McMansions. You're going to end up in a bread and butter house. I mean, you're still going to be able to afford a house. You're going to be able to afford something. If I see you in a trailer, like, it's his trailer, if he ends up in a trailer, it's going to be one of those, like, $500,000 trailers with, like, the whole shebang, you know, this thing. And he's going to be like, I'm roughing it. Yeah, that's him.